David Hogg, one of the students and activists from Parkland, Florida, who's calling for gun control legislation, appeared on Alisyn Camerotto's show on CNN, New Day. And during the discussion, Alisyn Camerota said something that triggered those on the right, which I thought was kind of interesting. Let's take a look at what she said, and then I'll give you the backlash.
David, I am stunned that 4 colleges rejected you. What kind of dumbass colleges don't want you? I mean, you've taken the country by storm. How do you explain this? Did they reject you before the Parkland massacre, or how do you explain this?
Okay, so that's what she said. And look, David Hogg is obviously a bright young man. He has an incredibly high GPA, 4.2. His SAT score is pretty good. It's in the 1200s.
Not good enough.
Yeah, so he's obviously a well-spoken, bright young man, right? So that's her opinion. And I don't know why anyone would be triggered by that, but apparently those on the right are very upset at Camerota's commentary there. Erlich shared his point of view. He said, the kind that look at grades in academics, not activism. Ooh. Yeah, well, his grades in academics are pretty stellar. So moving on. Stephen Miller, well, CNN did it. White privilege is real and is so perfectly summed up in this clip. I'm officially woke.
That's just like a Mad Lib of buzzwords.
I know.
Right?
Wait, I was like, what is he even saying right now?
I don't know. I literally don't know what that one was.
But when my kids filling out college applications, community service and all of that stuff is welcome. So including activism.
Yeah.
So if you have a high GPA and good SAT scores and you're out there trying to change legislature to benefit children who are dying, I think that should make a college application look good.
What this basically says to me is that nobody knows how college works. So admissions were in the fall, and so he probably had to turn in the admissions, and it's a UC school, in December. And so now the Parkland shooting happened after the fact, so I don't know what his activism looked like beforehand. And I went to UCLA, actually. I was a Bruin, and Bruins, and I was also a Trojan, so I have to represent both.
I don't like you. You should stay with the Bruin thing.
But actually, the acceptance rate is an issue with the UC schools, and especially UCLA. They in 2017 they got 100,000 students applying to get into UCLA, and they accepted 16,000 students. That is 16%. So yeah, 4.2 actually will not cut it because they're not asking the appropriate question, which is it weighted or unweighted? Did he take AP classes? Was he in the top percentile at his school? So those things matter in terms of the college admissions process. But of course, the right wing is, like you said, just stringing together buzzwords attacking him, and then people I hardly want to call CNN the left, but moderates are trying to, push their own sort of agenda, which I think her comment was.
I don't even think there's an agenda.
I know, but it was ridiculous. Yeah. It was ridiculous. So I mean, no, it is. But I mean,
what's she gonna say? I'm glad you didn't get into the schools, nerd.
No, but not only that, but like dumbasses. What kind of journalistic reaction is that?
That's the journalism.
Had a 17. No,
but what I'm saying is,
17-year-old on her. I'm like defending her. Like she had a 17-year-old on her show, and she was like, "Hey, welcome to the show. You know, you're making news. You're making a difference in the world. What kind of nerds don't let you into their school?" Trying to be
she's making conversation.
No, I get it, but this is the after effect moment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like, okay, go for a year, do what you need to do, reapply or transfer, and you will get into those schools.
Or don't go to another school. Don't go to that school.
My perspective on this, I just want to. Look, no one really cares. Okay? I don't even think Alisyn Camerota cares. I hate to put words in her mouth. Yeah. She was just saying something, in my opinion, to be nice. This is not meant to be a freaking national headline, right?
Right. No, that's true.
But my take on this is the right wing loves to take issues that, need to be discussed, right? Like double standards in society, especially in our justice system when it comes to 2 different groups of people. We have a 2-tier justice system. It is clear as day. And so when we talk about things like white privilege, it's not to demonize anyone. It's not to say that white people have like this upper hand and are always super successful and wealthy. It's to say that we have certain systemic issues that treat 2 different people in a completely different way, even if they've committed committed the same crime or acted in a similar fashion. Brock Turner, for instance, he was the Stanford University student who got caught raping someone behind a dumpster and got 6 months, a 6-month sentence, which by the way was shortened after that, for raping someone. And so the reason why I bring that up, and the reason why I bring up white privilege is because white privilege is not, hey, you're automatically wealthy and successful. White privilege is, hey, you know, if you have a black 23-year-old caught raping someone behind a dumpster, the justice system is gonna treat that individual very differently from someone like Brock Turner who got that 6-month sentence.
Right.
So that's what I mean. And so my long spiel is about how the right will then take stories like this and mock the notion.
No, for sure, for sure.
So that's why.
No, for sure. And I love the Young Turks takes accounting and then makes them accountable for just spewing things out there that also have a direct impact, a material impact on people's lives. So I love that you all do that. What my frustration is bad journalism, basically. Like, I know she was trying to mollify him in that moment and be kind to a young person on her show, but also like, do you understand anything about college admission?
Well, you know,
basically,
I mean,
I have higher standards for journalism, and I just mainstream media and just the journalists that and anchors that they have on. I don't know how they get on there.
You know what? I will say this.
It is a moment.
It's a moment on a live TV show on a 24-hour news cycle. I would direct my invective toward the 24-hour news cycle, not the way that it is. You know, it engenders itself in this situation. I would have it in like. In the way that the tweets that we see from Eric Erickson come out, where people are like, the dynamic is we smell a little blood in the water and suddenly we're Bruce with his like eyes glazed over trying to eat Nemo. Like that's what they're all doing. And they get confused and they're not really thinking through it and they think it's cool because they're all in a community.
Oh, right, no.
They get likes, you get more likes for, this is masturbation.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure. The policing of a moment is ridiculous, and that's where we've gone like hyper meta with the way that journalism operates.
Especially from the source. That's what makes it so funny to me. God forbid this lady have a moment with a kid that survived a massacre and say they would be crazy not to have you. But that self-righteousness that we've taken on and that we're constantly judging everybody and that we're walking around thinking that we're greater than thou. I'm a comedian, but I do know a little bit about college acceptances because I have a daughter who is a very, very, you know, she's pretty dope and awesome. And I do know that when we talk about someone told my daughter, don't apply to UCLA, you're not Asian. They're not gonna let you in. And we know that there are biases in colleges and that there are this system that we like to promote and say that this is how it is and this is the standard. We know that that is not the case because we look at college campuses throughout the country and people have to have HBCUs so that black kids can go to colleges because it is not equal and it is not even for everybody, especially black children in America.
Especially at UCLA. We had a whole sort of organizing around the fact that I give you some of the numbers for this year. There were years when only 98 black students were admitted to UCLA. So yeah, there are so many groups that don't get in. So if you're not getting in,
you shouldn't have to have a 4.6 GPA and a 2,000 SAT
He's out of state, but they would want you more because you would pay more.
They're looking for balance. Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh,
I thought it was harder to get in from out of state.
No. There's a whole controversy around this.
No, it's easier because you're going to pay more money for tuition.
You are, and actually they're supposed to admit more California students. And they now international students, but they're supposed to admit more California students than they're actually admitting because they do get money from the state to subsidize their education. So it's a bit of a controversy, actually.
If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now. TYTnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.